We're going to get going. We are now recording. Hi, my name is Rita Jean Moran, and I'm an independent writer and filmmaker, and I've been running this film group for a little bit over 6, 7 months. But I was in it for quite a while, and I took it over last year. So tonight we have a very special guest, Linda Nelson from Indie Rights. I'm very, very happy that she's joined us for a long interview, and we're going to ask all of the good questions. So I'm going to start, and we're going to turn it over and ask Linda, please tell us about yourself and your company.
Well, we've been in business for 23 years, so there's a lot to tell, but I'll try and keep it short. My partner, Michael Madison, and I met on a film back around 2000, and we worked on that, and we decided that we would like to make films together, and we have been together ever since. But we did start making movies, independent films. We knew nothing. We didn't go to film school. So we learned everything. By back then, there wasn't the internet that we have today, and there wasn't streaming. So now you can learn just about anything you want to learn how to do on YouTube. But back then, we just devoured every book on film that we could get, either from the library or from on the newsstand. We used to buy like Filmmaker magazine and Video Maker magazine. They've been around for a long time, and that was how we started. And we bought a camera. The first camera that we bought was a Canon SL, and that was the first kind of digital camera that you could use to make movies fairly inexpensively. It was standard definition, and not too long after that, it turned into high definition, and HD became the norm. So we didn't get to use that camera for very long. After we finished our first 2 independent films, we got into some smaller festivals. Well, they're not so small anymore, but here in LA, we got into a festival, and we started looking for distribution, and we couldn't find any companies that we felt we could work with, that we thought would be fair, or we felt like we could, make any money with, because they were going to take too much. So we decided very early on that we were going to try and start a distribution company of our own. And that's how Indie Rights started. And we started by taking 6 or 7 other filmmakers that were at the same festivals as us, and we told them we wanted to start a company, and they all gave us their films. We started with like 8 films, and we went to the American film market, and we started selling. My partner Michael sat out by the pool with a laptop and some DVDs, and back in the day when laptops had DVDs, they don't anymore.
Right.
And I would walk around the lobby trying to find buyers to come and look at some of our movies, and we actually were successful in selling some that first year. And so that, we just moved on blind faith after that, and we were very confident that the internet was going to be the way of the future. And so we offered Amazon and Google to beta test their products that they were getting ready to roll out. So, and it was probably by 2006 or 2007 that we started testing for Amazon. And so we've had a great relationship with those digital companies right from the very beginning. And, I don't have to tell you, the studios, they really just didn't believe in it. They thought we were going to have DVDs and later Blu-rays forever. And they didn't get into streaming until a couple of years ago. And now they're kind of in trouble because they overspent trying to buy their way in, right? And they're having problems. They're laying off people left and right. And so the industry is in a bit of a, a little bit of a recession right now, but it's a great time for independent films, and we'll talk about that. So we slowly built up our library, and we go to the American Film Market and the Cannes Film Market every year. Those two markets are 6 months apart. One's Cannes in May, and American Film Market is here. Those are the two biggest film markets, and we've been exhibiting there for many years now. And that's where we can meet with international companies. And so we are a global distributor, and we have great relationships, direct relationships with all of the big tech companies. And we actually started as a tech company, so we do all the encoding and delivery in-house from our office. We don't have to, take films to a lab and have a lab do it and then charge our filmmakers. So that's why we're able to offer our filmmakers a very good deal where we don't charge them any expenses. So that's where we are. We're still we're making movies. We have two in development right now, and every once in a while we'll partner with a filmmaker that's been with us for a long time and co-produce with them. So that's kind of where we are.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask like a 3-in-1 question because I bet they're
Okay.
all going to kind of go together. I'm
All
going to
right.
ask, how many artists do you represent? Who licenses from you? And how can somebody get represented by your company?
Okay. So we have about 800 filmmakers, but over 1,000 films, because filmmakers that decide to work with us, they like working with us, and so they bring us their next film. So we have some filmmakers that have 6, 7, 8 films with us, that started with us 6, 7, 8 years ago. And so even though our contract, our initial term is only 3 years, it renews automatically. So we don't want people to feel trapped, and if they're not happy, they can leave. But 98% of people stay with us. So anybody who has a completed film is welcome to seek distribution with us. We have a website, and you can go on that website and submit your film, and it'll ask you for a screener and a lot of information about your film, and we'll talk about some of that information later. And then we'll review it and get back to you. And we're pretty selective at this point. When we first started, we had to take just about everything we could get our hands on. But the platforms themselves have gotten much more selective because they had to build their library. So they would take just about everything we had. But so now, they're really looking for people to have, good production value. And we'll talk about what they're looking for. I'm sure you'll ask me about that later.
Yes. So, is it really still profitable for an indie filmmaker? As an indie filmmaker myself, right now I'm just finding it hard to make money. I've only done one full feature, but I'm doing documentaries, and it's just kind of like, how do you get that audience? How do you get that profit? It takes money to make the money. So how do
Uh,
you get this to be
we
profitable?
we don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money. In fact, a lot of our filmmakers don't spend any money on advertising. Social media is the answer, and social media allows you to connect to your audience. And so, as a filmmaker, now part of a filmmaker's responsibility is to learn how to communicate with their audience, and so that the audience wants to see their films. And so we make a lot of effort teaching filmmakers how to do that. We have, okay, we have a film that was just released last Friday on Tubi. Are you all familiar with what Tubi is?
Yes.
I guarantee you that film was made for less than $50,000, maybe even $30,000, and it's making $10,000 a day.
Oh my.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
How long that will keep going, it's hard to say. But we have many films under $50,000 that have made back several hundred thousand. And it's the people that embrace the responsibility of marketing and engaging with their audience that are successful.
Fantastic.
So it's very, you can, the goal is keep your budget as low as possible. You have to be a creative producer. If you're going to be a filmmaker, you have to learn how to find good locations, cheap. I mean, the last time we made a movie, we put locations, a list of locations up on Facebook, and we said anybody who can get us a location, one of these locations for free, is going to get an IMDb location scout credit. And we did that. And it's actually gotten people into that business, and we also did a lot of auditions by video, where we put the sides up so I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can be creative. We found friends that knew people that had cars. We actually had someone give us a gorgeous 1967 Mustang for a month to use for a car, and it didn't cost us a penny. We had another person um, who knew the owner of a kind of a famous bar here in Burbank. It's called the Blue Room, and Memento. There are scenes in Memento in that movie. The studios pay $14,000 a day to shoot there. We got it for $200.
Oh,
So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to make the movies the way that the studios make the movies. You can't. You have to be really, really budget conscious, and learn how to improvise. But the production value's got to be good, the story's got to be good, the acting's got to be
fantastic. Well, okay, now this is a little bit different. Generally you are looking for somebody with a finished product, but do you ever work with somebody that has an idea or an idea for a TV series
good.
and
Ideas
wants
are
to put it
cheap.
together? Ideas are cheap.
Ideas are cheap. Everybody's got ideas. It's not enough. An idea is not enough for anyone. Even like if you were wanting to approach a streamer like Netflix or anyone, you need a show Bible, you need talent attached, you need a showrunner. These are all it has to be packaged. You can't just go to them with an idea. Everybody has to. It has to be a well developed package. So
And kind of going off of that, and I have seen this, what if somebody does part of the movie as like I don't want to say a
a proof
sizzler.
of concept.
Yeah, proof of concept. What do you think about that?
Well, it's still, you need the other things as well. I mean, you can shoot a scene, but or have a trailer, but you still have to have talent. I mean, they want talent now. I mean, they're canceling series with big stars. Okay, big name talent are getting their series canceled. Halfway through a season. So I don't recommend series for indies. I really don't. And here's why. It's like making 5 movies, right?
Yeah,
And if you don't super engage people in the first episode, they're not coming back for 2 through 8 or 2 through 6. How many times have you started a series, you didn't like it, and you never went back to try the rest? It happened to me many, many times, right? And so
yeah,
you've done all that work and nobody's going to see them. It's tough. It's tough. Really,
yes.
really hard. So
Now,
it's like even like what just came out, that new True Detective. So many people didn't like the first one. I was willing to give it a chance and watch the second one, and the second one was much better. So I'm going to continue. But my partner, he left halfway through the first one. He said, "No, this is not for me," and that's it. And he's not even going to bother watching the rest of it. So series are very, very tough. And that's got Jodie Foster in it, right? Got a big star. So I don't recommend series. I think series are something you can get into after you're established as an artist, as a director, or a filmmaker. I think you're better off starting with features.
Now, going off of everything that you just said, what do you recommend to make that movie successful? And you said the word talent, and I'm going to let you expound upon that. What could make an indie film successful? What do you think?
There, and I said this before. The first thing is you've got to have a great story. So your script's got to be top notch. Great story, then you have to have really good acting. And then you have to have really good production value. And that's both lighting and audio. I see so many
Yeah.
like kind of first and second time features. People think, oh, I got a great camera, I don't have to do any lighting. Lighting is critical. I see so many films. Just to give you an idea, we get about 10 submissions a day, and we take 2 a week. Okay, so even for us, the competition is getting steep. And the ones that we have to turn down are because people haven't learned, like about lighting, or they have a great story, but the audio is so bad you keep getting thrown out of it, and that's not good. You've got all 3 of those things have to be good: story, acting, and production value. Now, about the acting, you don't have to have stars. 99% of our content have certainly no A lists or B lists, and very few C lists, and mostly no lists. But we have some very, very successful films. So it's because of the budget levels that we deal with. We like dealing with real indie films. That is our niche. We don't, if a film's got a budget of like $3 million or more, we don't even look at it. We just tell them no, because we know they're not going to make that back on streaming. Streaming is not mature enough yet to make that kind of money. So the key is to keep your budget as low as possible, right?
Going on what you have just said, what do you think the average budget is for the films that you are representing that are making some money?
50 to 100.
50 to 100.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally we'll get one that's like 350, 4, maybe 5. It's very hard to, be profitable at 500,000. We don't have a lot of films that make that. That being said, we've had many, that have made between, say, 4 and 7. We've had a couple that have made close to $1 million. But that's our top films.
And when you say that number, what percent of that number is the film owner going to get? Like, is there a cut?
We pay our filmmakers 80% of every penny that comes in the door.
Very
we only
nice.
pay 20%, and we don't charge any expenses ever.
But you also have it on different platforms, so the platform's going to take its cut. And
yeah, they take their cut first, and whatever they send us, you get 80% of it.
Got it.
And it's different for every platform. Okay, so like Amazon TVOD, they keep 50% of the retail price. For Prime, there's no way to know. I mean, they're going to pay you anywhere between a penny and 12 cents an hour, depending on how well you engage with your audience. We have some people that are making penny an hour. We have some people that are making 5 cents an hour, some that are making 10 cents an hour. So, and then Freebie pays 8 cents an hour. Now you look at Tubi, what they pay per 1,000 ad impressions is somewhere, it can be anywhere between $4 and $11, right? So it just depends the time of the year, how many ads are on your, on your film. And so it's important to keep in mind when you're writing your film, you have to have in the back of your head, are advertisers going to be willing to put ads on my movie? Right? If you put too much sex in it, not going to happen. Right? If you have too much profanity, they'll accept a couple F-bombs in the movie. But you have to be careful. You have to keep that in the back of your mind. So yes, there might be a few condom ads, companies that might put an ad on there, but there are not too many companies that will, take sexually explicit stuff. So you have to keep that in mind when you're writing or when you're filming, and do things. You can do things. I mean, if you see somebody crawl into bed with someone, you know what's going to go on. You don't have to show them naked doing it, right? But some people think they have to show everything. You don't have to show everything. People know what's going on. So
Yeah,
things like that are
it's a
important to keep in
fine
mind.
line between artistic and artistic expression and the fact that it's a business.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and it is a business. When we go to film markets, we might as well be selling computers. You have a booth, you have your movies, the posters are on the wall, and and buyers come by. And if they like the poster, they'll look at the trailer. If they like the trailer, they'll check your IMDb score and your Rotten Tomato score. Then, if all of that goes well, they'll ask to see a screener. So, most important thing is your poster.
Yeah,
Gotta be clickbait.
that makes
We can
sense.
talk about, what's important, when it comes to that stuff.
Now, you said buyer. I'm just curious. Are you able to get any of the movies that are in the indies into any of the theaters here or in a different country? Is that any?
In the US, indies aren't in theaters.
No,
They
not
just
at all.
aren't.
Okay.
Not at all. We used to, about half of our films used to do at least a 1 week release uh, in Los Angeles because the LA Times would write a review and it was fantastic. But during COVID, LA Times sold their building, they moved to El Segundo, and they let go all of their reviewers, and they don't review indie films anymore. And if you there's a website called The Numbers, and you can see the box office. You can see what's in theaters and what they make. Couple of indie films, and they don't make anything. So then it becomes a cost to do it. So you're starting in the hole. It's not worth it. And besides, you don't need, hundreds of eyeballs, right? That you might get at a small, theatrical release. You need millions of eyeballs. Now, at the film markets, like when we go to Cannes, we might have a buyer, say from Taiwan, that wants to buy all the rights for their country, and they will put some of the indie films in theaters. Okay, so when they buy it, they're giving you a flat fee for the whole territory for a certain number of years.
Mm,
So that's how foreign sales go.
yeah, that's good though. Now, when I went
Yeah.
to AFM right before COVID in 2019, and
Mhm.
comparing what you're saying, you have a much better deal from what I was hearing there because they were looking for 12-year contracts, and I
They
don't
still
know,
are.
and they still are. Yeah, I mean, and then who knows if they were going to be able to even get it into different markets besides streaming. So I think that's
Right.
fantastic that you're still out there, that there still
Uh-huh.
is a little bit of a market. Obviously, COVID really put a dent into the movie goers, in the
For
theater.
theatrical, for indie theatrical, it
Yeah,
killed it.
it
Absolutely
really,
killed it.
yeah.
People, you got to have a big show. You better be Barbie or Oppenheimer if you want to get people
Yeah.
or Avengers, or you have to be a big spectacular tentpole film to get people to go to the theater now. And part of that is because people have 80-inch screens in their house.
Yeah.
They'd rather be comfortable and sit on their couch and watch movies at home. So so I know I do. I don't. Something has to be really special for me to go to the theater now.
Yeah.
But I but also the whole concept of foreign sales is changing, because we, like, one of our best meetings at the American Film Market this year was with our Amazon rep, and they are, they're in 200 countries,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And so that's taking over, and as the rest of the world adopts streaming, and they're slow. They're way behind. They're about 5 years behind us, so they've been slow to adopt, streaming, but it's happening now. And so I think, that's going to be more and more of an opportunity. We're starting to see quite a bit of streaming revenue coming from the UK and various other territories. So we're very optimistic about that. Plus, we have a YouTube channel called Indie Writes Movies for Free, and that's an AVOD channel, just like Tubi. And the pay rate is very good there. And so, but you do have to have like a network version of your film. So sometimes what we suggest, if somebody's film is a little too graphic, that you make a separate version, for our YouTube channel, that has less profanity or less sex or less violence. They're pretty okay with violence, but sex and profanity, they're pretty picky about.
Yeah, and that makes sense. What advertiser, is going to want to put something on that's just way out there?
Yeah.
So it is a business.
Yeah.
So with some of the things that you've just said, where do you think this whole movie making industry is going for Americans in general? And what do you think the future is going to be for us indies?
Well, America's always been, the major hub for movie making. Most movies that are produced, we produce more here in America than anywhere else in the world. Maybe India. India produces a lot of films, but they're not in English. What's happening now is that AI is going to be able to provide dubbing and subtitles
Yeah.
for all countries. So that's just going to expand the territory where American movies can go. So Amazon also told us that this year they're hoping to provide us with foreign subtitles for all of the countries where they're where they can have TVOD, which is great. So we're really looking forward to that. It's already expanded. We're already in like 5 or 6. We're in like Spain and France and Mexico and Japan and UK and US, and that's just growing. So this year we expect to see a big expansion with Amazon and Tubi also. So as because Americans aren't real excited about watching movies with subtitles, right? So we find that foreign films here in the States don't do that well with subtitles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
watch like French films with subtitles, but it's not very popular.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm going to combine some of this because
Sure.
you've kind of covered some of it, but I want to see maybe there's more to be said. Uh, I want to know, um, you've said that you've made a movie, but what do you think makes a great film? You've kind of touched on that. How do you get your audience to pay or look at the movie? You touched a little bit on that. What is the best genre? And what is the best indie movie you think, or a group of them? And advice for newbies and oldies in the indie film. So all of those
That's like
subjects
10
today.
questions.
Yeah.
Let's do one at a time.
Well, I know you were talking about social media to market. We did touch on that. And you were saying, you gave us a good list of a great story, good acting, production
Right.
value, lighting, and audio, and a reasonable budget. So
Right.
let's start with, what do you think is one of your most favorite indie films? Just off the
Um, well, I I think one of my favorites. It's really hard for me to pick because I like so many different kinds. We have a film called Convict, which is a terrific film. It's about a man who winds up killing someone in self-defense who breaks into his home, and he and his wife are threatened, and he winds up going to jail, and the warden hates him, and it's about how he survives in the prison environment, and um, the warden is very corrupt, and it's a story of how he winds up um, being exonerated, and the warden gets taken down, and it's just such an engaging movie, and we've had that film since 2012, and it continues. It is just continues and continues and continues to make money. And at this point, it's still making like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, right?
Wow.
Okay, after
That
all
is.
these years, right? And and it's because it's so engaging. And and this is the key, in writing. You can't have boring bits. Every scene has got to move the story forward, right? So, um, and this is especially true now because when your movie's on an Avon channel, because people aren't paying for it, if they get bored, they're out of there and they'll go watch something else. So you have to keep people's attention. And, there are many, many, many ways to do that. And so as you learn how to write and engage, with your audience, you're right. All your skills should get better the more movies you make. That's why it's good to start small. Start with a $10,000 movie, right? And then move up as you make money and stuff, because um, all your skills will get better. How you compose, and how you shoot, and how you direct, and how you work with your actors, and how you tell your stories. All of those things will improve you know as you perfect your craft. And so um, I think that answered that one as far as my favorite movie. And I also have, several other favorite movies. And they're not always the most successful. Uh, we have uh, we have one filmmaker that we've been working with him for about 10 years. He did a beautiful film called Frey about a young soldier who came back from fighting in Afghanistan, and he was wounded and he had PTSD, and it's about his struggle to readapt to life. And again, it's very, very engaging. It won the jury award at Dances with Films, and we became friends. We become friends with a lot of our filmmakers, and so we wound up co-producing his latest film, which is a vampire film, and it's
Oh,
beautiful. It's shot so well, and it's just gorgeous. But it's more of a love story than a true horror film. And you have to be careful because horror fans are very particular and they expect a certain formula for the horror film. And this was just a little too much of a drama, for them. And
Mm.
so it wasn't terribly popular with um, the horror fans, but the critics loved it. It's 100% Rotten Tomatoes, you know, fresh tomatoes and stuff. So, so that's also one of my favorites. And we have, I have a lot of favorites. And we have several filmmakers that we work with out of Detroit and Wichita, Kansas, and they are they are just booming when it comes to increasing their skills and their craft. They started out making very small movies, and they're just have improved. And like so, this one that I was telling you about that just came out. It's called Rose Gold, and it came out a week ago, and it is just doing gangbusters. It's already made its money back in a week.
Fantastic.
Okay. and
Wow.
and it's very engaging. Um, and he's had a previous hit with us. They had a film called A Love Story from the Streets, still doing really, really well. And it's about a young couple that they wanted to get married and buy a house and raise a family, but they didn't have much money. And so the wife got offered to work at a club in Miami. And so they go down to Miami, and it's going to be a short-term thing. And she's going to work in this dance club, be a stripper for just a short period of time until they save up a bunch of money, and then they're going to go back home and, start the family. Well, unfortunately, the strip club is owned by a big drug
Oh,
cartel, and they get sucked into this thing, and they can't get out of it. It's just so engaging. And it's just, so it's done huge, absolutely huge.
are
So,
these films on your YouTube AVOD channel? Can we go and take a look?
that one can't be because it's too explicit,
Oh, is
right?
okay, the
Yeah,
content, is that what,
it's on Tubi. If you look on Tubi,
Tubi?
uh,
I'll take a look when,
that way you can see it for free. You don't have to pay for it. So, A Love Story from the Streets or Rose Gold, those are both, one's from Wichita, and we have several from Detroit, and we have some from Chicago too. But I think, like I said, the key is just that you have got to really, you've got to connect to your audience. You've got to engage with your audience. You have to tell a good story. And so those things are important. And, I mean, there's a lot of little, I don't want to call them tricks, but I mean, people don't think about their poster and how important their poster is, but your poster has got to be clickbait. When you're, have your television on and all these posters are flying by, it has to make you stop. And we have people that, they make a poster and they have little bitty people standing on the beach, and you can't even tell they're people. They're so small, because you have to think when your poster is only like an inch tall, what's it going to look like? And you'd be shocked how many people watch movies on their phones. So the posters are even smaller. So you want big, bold images. The title art you want strong, because you want it, even if they're not going to watch it right then, you want them to, if they see that title a couple of times, maybe they'll click on it. So you want really strong title art and a really bold image, and don't try to put too much in it. And don't try to fool people. Like we had someone give us a poster for their movie last week. And I loved the poster. But I said, I don't remember seeing that. And it was a boy's face, and his eyes were covered, and somebody was standing behind him with their arms on their shoulder. And it was a beautiful, beautiful poster. I said, but I don't remember seeing that boy in the movie. And they said, oh, he's not in the movie. I said, you can't do that. You can't, you have to be real. You can't, it's too much of a trick. People will get annoyed when you do things like that. Another thing that's really, really important is your title. And I have to tell you, people don't check. They don't go on IMDb, or they don't use the internet. It's really, really important that you have a title that nobody else has. If you, like, we have one person who gave us a film, and I swear to God, there are 10 other films with the same name.
Oh,
And because they've been out for a long time, when you Google that title, all those other ones come up first. Or if you're on Amazon and you search for it, all those ones that have more reviews and have been up for a long time, they come up first. So it's impossible to find that film. Okay. So you want a unique name? Keep it short too. I mean, some people come with like a sentence for the title, and that's not good. You want it short so that people, remember it, to be memorable, and don't get clever with it. Don't put symbols in it, right? A lot of people want to try and have something that's kind of clever, but it's not searchable, right? You can't, people aren't going to, remember to search. So you really want to make sure you do your homework when it comes to the title. And, and so really, really be careful with the title. So your poster and your title, very, very important. The next thing that's super, super important is the trailer. And especially for TVOD, people are going to look at the trailer before they'll pay for it, right? If you want people to rent your movie, they're going to watch the trailer first, especially when there's no stars in it. If somebody's got, Brad Pitt in the movie, people won't bother watching the trailer. They'll just, take a shot at the movie. But, if you don't have any names, they're gonna watch the trailer. So your trailer, don't have these slow moments in your trailer. No, trailer has to go with that. A few seconds each, little clip. It has to really move, and it should tell something about the movie, but without giving, obviously you don't want to give away any spoilers or anything, but it has to move. It has to, be quick. And then what we do, marketing, the marketing part of it is essential. And we expect our filmmakers to work with us as a team. So like we give our filmmakers a 50-page online marketing guidebook. And I try to keep that up to date, because things change a lot. I mean, when I started with that, it was MySpace. None of you guys probably even remember MySpace.
I do. I do. Yeah.
So, that before Facebook, and so now I have to upgrade it. I have to put TikTok in there because TikTok has become a very powerful marketing tool for film.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very, very popular. And if you on TikTok just search for movie reviews, you will not believe how many people do movie reviews, and they get millions of views, even for small films. So, check out TikTok. But anyway, so in this marketing guide, we teach you how to set up Facebook, Facebook you want for each movie. You want a Facebook movie page. But all your other social media should be for you, because the filmmaker is the brand, not an individual movie. So, if your production company is Rocket Pictures, then your Twitter, your Instagram, your YouTube channel and your TikTok should all be for Rocket Pictures. Or it could be for an individual. It could be for your name, like if you're like a filmmaker who writes and produces your films. Because if you think about it, Quentin Tarantino, if he comes out with a new movie, people are going to watch it because he's the brand, right? So, or it doesn't matter what the name of the movie is. They're going to see his newest film, right? So that's the goal is, to build out yourself as a filmmaker and your body of work. And that way, the next time you do a film, you've already got people waiting for you. So many times we still see filmmakers make the mistake of building separate profiles for every single movie they make. Next thing you know, they got 30 things they have to maintain, and you have none of the advantages because your audience is fragmented. They're not all in one place, right? So it's a very important concept, to grasp, is that you are the brand. And so that you want to build your audience on YouTube all in one place. And each time you have a new movie, you're making another section on your YouTube channel and featuring the new one, right? But what will happen is, say by your third movie, people love that. They're going to go back and watch your first movie and your second movie. I mean, we all want to see what people did before they got famous, right? So it's very, 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 important to, think of yourself as, as the brand, opposed to an individual movie. And the next thing that's really important, besides, setting up your social media, is having IMDb, a strong IMDb page. You fill out every single thing they let you put on there. Most people just don't bother. They'll put the cast and maybe a couple of the crew, and that's it, right? And our synopsis. No, fill out that IMDb as much as you possibly can. Every single thing about the movie. Very, very, very important. And then the other thing is Rotten Tomatoes. We get all of our filmmakers a Rotten Tomato page, and you need to make sure that you learn. We teach you how to get the reviews from the critics. You have to get the critic score and the audience score. Can I share my screen?
Sure. Let's see if I can get that to work. Try.
Okay, you probably have to give me permission. You have it disabled, so you have to turn it on.
It says one participant can share at a time. Let's see. Why don't you try?
Make it so. Oh, okay. So now I can.
All right, I did the multi.
Okay.
There
So
we go.
now
It says it's sharing. There we go.
yes,
We see it.
is. So I'm going to hold on a second here.
We do see it. Zoom.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So like if we go to, I'm going to give you guys some really good tips here. If we go to Rotten Tomatoes and I look up, say, Blood from Stone. You can see it's
Oh,
got
wow.
100% tomato meter and 86% audience score. We teach you how to get those reviews. So, because you don't want to write to critics like that only do documentaries if you have a horror film. Or if you have a horror film, you don't want to write to people that review documentaries. So like we teach people how to research the critics. Now they tell you who all their critics are right up here. See, can you see this up on the top? See where it says critics?
Yes.
All right. They tell you who all the critics are, and they have 1,000 of them. But you got to pick the right ones to write to, And so, like, one of the things we have our filmmakers do is look at other films of ours that have really good Rotten Tomato pages and that have the same type of genre movie as you and write to them, you know, or pick a well-known movie, right? And write to those critics something that's like your movie, right? So the Rotten Tomato is really, really, really important, as is your IMDb score. So we teach people how to do that. That's really important. The other thing we do is we have a private group of all of our filmmakers on Facebook, and we support each other with reviews. Reviews really help drive sales, especially on places I'm going to share again.
Like Amazon, yeah.
Yep. So like on Amazon, like you can see this film, Broken Rose. It's got 525 reviews, 4.5 stars. Okay. 525 reviews. So important. And if you don't get between, say, 50 and 100, they won't pick you for Prime anymore. So you have to earn Prime now. So you'll start, where you've got buy and rent, but the goal is to get to be Prime and have a good CER so that a lot more people will watch the movie. And so then also we're able to see how films are doing. Let me see here if I can. We get a report.
Oh wow, the minutes streamed.
So we can see the minutes watched.
Yeah.
Right? These are for all of our movies, and if we like look at a particular one, so like this one that just came out, if I want to see, oh, it's not even registering yet. If I want to see a particular film, I can see a particular film. So that's had that. And we can see like the blue line, that's the United States. The red line is the rest of the world. So that could be any number of different countries that it's playing in, right? So, and we give very detailed reports to our filmmakers, make sure they, have access to reports so that they know where their film is playing and where it's earning and where their audience is. So,
what do you think the best genre is? The highest selling genre or two? Can't there's
you know what? We have successes and failures in every genre. I would say probably as specific as you can get in like genre films. If you thrillers, crime thrillers, um, horror does really, really well. Probably the one that struggles the most right now is docs.
what is it? I'm sorry.
Documentaries.
Documentaries.
Unless they're very specific and have a very popular niche audience. For example, anything about food or dieting is doing extremely well. In January, everybody wants to lose weight, or learn about eating well, whatever. So food docs tend to do really, really well. Films about your grandfather, not so much. You know? So
Yeah.
super personal stories about an unknown person. People like to make those movies, but they don't do well at all. So
Yeah. Now we did get a question in the chat I want to kind of bring in because we're in the middle of it. It was there was a comment made about dollars per streaming hour, but the graph showed streaming per the minutes. How do they calculate it? Is it divided by 60, or is there another formula to determine the pay other than the streaming minutes
oh,
or hours?
okay, on I'll share again. On Tubi, for example. Okay. Hmm. Oops, what's going on with Tubi? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Something.
Wow. There we go. Okay. So on Tubi, so right now, this is for the past 30 days. We can see, we go down here. This movie that I was just telling you about that's brand new, it's already made $41,000. It's been not a week yet. Tomorrow it's out a week. Okay. Okay. Rose gold, can you see that? Are you able
Yeah.
to? Okay. It had, they paid by the impressions. Okay. So an impression is an ad. So this 6,485,000 ads have been seen
Wow.
on this movie to make that much money. And for every 1,000, they get $6. Okay. That's the ECPM. That means how much it's earned per 1,000 ads. Okay. So these are our best films right now, this month, last 30 days. And those are the two films I told you about that are doing so well. This one too. This film, Boosters LA, that's from 2008. Broken Rose, that one we looked at, that's from like 2018, I think. Not new. Some films just continue to earn and earn and earn, right? Clear Mind is new. Angel Mountain's old. Deceitful Passions, this film has been going, making a couple $1,000s a month for 4 years. And it was quite a low budget film. So, but that's how you get paid by Tubi. It's also how you get paid by on our YouTube channel. Now we have on our YouTube channel, we have 400, almost a 500,000 subscribers, right? And these films get paid the same way. They get paid. Let me see if I can see the. Yeah. Okay. So see here, this film is making $5.16 for every 1,000 ads. And different films may have more or less ads because maybe the content. All right. Now this one is in Spanish, so it's not getting very many ads, right? Only getting $1.63. This one's getting $7. This one's getting $3. So the more ads that can be placed on your film, the more money you're going to make, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So
Is everything well, I got a few more and then I'm gonna stop and give it a breather and let if there's any other questions. But
okay.
okay, for example, I already did a movie in 2018. I've tried to sell it. I was on Prime and then Prime decided to kick it off. Like you said, if you're not getting 50 to 100 reviews, they're not interested and they have a lot of people. They don't need you. So I've tried different things. I'm on Tubi with it. Um, for someone like me, if I had an old movie, well, it's kind of too late because I'm already on Tubi. But would you ever consider somebody like me if I already had an old movie to see what you
Oh,
could
we
do
take
with
a
it?
lot. Yeah, oh yeah, we take a lot of old movies. What happens a lot of times is people make a very poor choice with who distributes their film the first time.
Yes.
Then when the contract expires, they come to us and we start over.
Yeah.
So they make the other person take it down from everybody and we start over. So that movie I showed you on Tubi, Boosters, it's in our top 10. That was with somebody else for a long time. And companies come and go. Like, I don't know if you've heard, but 1091, which was, kind of a hot company to be with, they're going bankrupt. They already closed their doors and they're giving people back their films. And so we're getting films that were on 1091.
If I'm already on Tubi, though, can you do anything with mine? I mean, it's got to
Well,
be truth.
I'd have to look.
You'd
If
have
it's
to choose.
something that we
Yeah.
wanted to distribute, you would take it down and we would start over.
Okay.
But it'd have to be something that we would want.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point. If you're with a distributor you don't like and it's time to be done, maybe find somebody new who can do a better job.
Yeah.
So that's very good to know. Now, is there a typical agreement for representation? Seems like everybody's got their own thing going on. Like you said, you do 3 years. A lot of the people at AFM are asking for 12.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put something in. I'm going to share like the benefits of being with our company. And the reason I'm going to share that is because you can use that to compare companies and kind of get an idea about what makes for a good distributor. And I'll talk about it, each one of these items. All right, so if you can see this, all right. So one, and this is really important, we have a real personal relationship with our filmmakers.
It's in the chat, everybody. She's got it in the chat.
It's in the chat. So we have a personal relationship with our filmmakers, and that's really important because a lot of these companies you can't talk to. Nobody answers the phone. You can't talk to them. They don't even answer their email.
Right.
So it's really hard. Once you sign with them, they kind of ghost you, especially if you're asking them for money. Where's my money? They don't want to talk to you. So anyway, so having that personal relationship, we coach our filmmakers. So that personal relationship is important. We have an office in Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is still the center of the movie universe. Even Netflix now has a big office here. Amazon moved their offices here for movies. So this is where where you want your distributor to be. 80% of all our revenue is paid out to our filmmakers every quarter. We have a very short initial term. 3 years. You'll have many distributors ask you for 10 years, 15 years, right? It's not uncommon, you know. Ours is particularly short. And that 80%, a lot of distributors, I've seen some do even 50-50, where they take 50%.
Yeah.
I think the average is probably 30-70 or 35-65 is pretty common out there. There are very few that do 80-20, and no one else has no expenses. I think we're the only company left that has no expenses. We don't charge for encoding or delivery or marketing or any of that. Our films are curated so that our partners trust us. You know, they know that when we submit a film to them, it's going to be good. You know, that we're not going to give them any junk. Not that anything's junk. Making movies is hard. Anybody can get a feature finished, kudos to them, because it's hard. And you just might not be ready for prime time yet, but still, it's an accomplishment. And you can always, you know, put it on YouTube or on, you know, on your website, you know, if you're just getting started, you know, and it's not quite ready for, you know, a premium platform. So we do not charge marketing expenses. We do a lot of marketing. I'll show you some of the stuff we do. For every market, we print a beautiful catalog, a printed catalog. And if your film has earned tomatoes on Rotten Tomatoes, you're going to have a quote there from one of the critics. And we print a new one for each market that we go to. And then we also pay a lot of money in the trades to do full page ads of the movies that we're bringing to the market stuff. So that all comes out of our 20%. We don't charge you. And other companies will charge you for marketing. We have very simple deliverables. We're not going to ask you for E&O insurance or, you know, title clearances, and we're not going to make you give us all your agreements with everybody. And so basically, you're going to give us the feature and a trailer and closed captions and some stills and a posters. So that's pretty simple. And then we have very detailed reports that we pay out quarterly. We have extensive marketing education and direct marketing support. So if you look at Indie Rights on Instagram, you'll see how much we post about all our filmmakers and films. We're also on, you know, like I said, on our YouTube channel, we have almost 500,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. So we have quite an audience there, and Facebook. So we're quite very, very active. And we teach our filmmakers to tag us. So as soon as they put at Indie Rights Movies, we get a notification and we can echo and amplify that out to a bigger audience, right? So, mm-hmm. Right. So we're doing that all the time. And then if you want, we'll do DVD and Blu-ray to about 40 online retailers for free. Don't have to pay us for that. We do go to, like I said, about CAN and AFM. And let's see, we talked about our AVOD channel on YouTube. And we are direct. There's no middleman. We don't have to, you know, use some middleman or sales agent to get to the premium. We're with all the premium channels ourselves, and we've been in business for 23 years. So those are things that are important. When you're talking to somebody else about distribution, you want to ask them all those things. What percentage are you going to want, right? What expenses are you going to charge me? How long is the term that you want? What marketing support are you going to offer? Do you go to any markets, right? What platforms do you have relationships with? How long have you been in business? This is really important. There's a couple of new companies out there that are trying to gobble up films and they don't have any experience, and you want to stay away from people that haven't been in business very long.
Mm.
Very hard to start out now. So all those things, those are the typical things that are in a contract that you want to watch out for.
All good points. Is there something that is the worst thing an indie could do in this whole process, or in making the film? You know, something
Yes.
to avoid.
Oh, there are several things to avoid.
Huh.
One, you want to avoid too explicit material.
Oh yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be clean. I mean, you look when you look at, like Love Story from the Streets, but if you want to see what can pass on YouTube, look at the films that we have on YouTube. That it takes that, and you have to clear your music. If you use somebody else's music, you
Oh.
must get a license for it, and get that license for perpetuity. Don't just get it for festival license, or don't just get it for 3 years. No, get it forever. The best thing to do is have a friend compose the music. Somebody, if you know somebody that does music, use a friend, get your friend to do music, because when musicians are starting out, they're happy to do stuff very reasonably, or even for free, just so that their music gets heard. So music clearance is critical. You just have to make sure it's licensed or original. And if you hire somebody to do the music, then you have to have in the contract that music is for you to use forever. All right. Not just for a specified period of time. It should be forever, anywhere the music you put the movie. Let's see. You want to make sure that you research anyone that you are thinking about using as a distributor, and you can do that. IMDb Pro is really, really important. And you don't have to stay on there forever, even if you just, like do monthly for a couple of months while you're doing your research or whatever. You got to research anyone you're considering. If you have 5 companies that want to distribute your film, go on IMDb Pro, look up their company, make sure they're on there. If they're not on there, you don't want to do business with them. They should be on IMDb Pro. And you'll see a list of the films that they're distributing. Well, go and call at least 4 or 5 people that are working with that company and ask them, do they pay you on time? They don't have to tell you how much they make, but ask them, are you happy with them? Do they pay you on time? You get detailed reports, right? And a lot of times you'll hear a sob story. I had people cry on the phone when they took my film, they never paid me. It's heartbreaking,
Yeah.
So
I've heard that too. Yeah.
oh yeah, it's terrible. There are many predatory companies out there. There's good companies out there too, but there's predatory. So you want to do your research. It's really, really important. I think another thing is that's really important is you have to be willing to embrace marketing. We have a term, we call it post. After post-production comes post, where you have to post. And, so it's really, you have to, it's fun. I mean, we're learning how to, do things. I'll show you something that share my screen again. Where's the sound? Hmm. Oh, I don't have any sound on here. I don't
Oh,
know why. Do you have it turned off?
Try lifting up your window. Try pulling up your window to the top of your screen.
I wonder if it's gonna come through, because of the Zoom. It may not, like you may hear it in your audio, but then we can't hear it.
Sometimes at the bottom they have like a little sound icon at the
Oh
bottom.
yeah, no, there it is. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, we
So that's
can't
my
hear.
part.
We still can't hear it.
The volume is going down.
If you go back to the bottom one, is there a volume? If you hit that, is there a volume level?
Yeah. Well, was that really loud?
Oh, yeah, no, we can't hear it at all. Now
Oh.
I'm surprised. Okay, we can't hear it at all.
Well, anyway, you can see it, but that's my partner, and that's shot on a phone. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That Michael, we shot that on a phone, and then what's behind him are clips from the movie, right? So it's very, you can get really creative, with your marketing and do some really fun things. Um, and that vertical format is really good for like TikTok, Reels on Instagram, uh, Shorts on a YouTube channel. So
I have one more question, and then
sure.
there's three questions in the chat I'm gonna move into, but
Okay.
okay, so well, one, I should have went to you first. I'm kicking myself now. I should have. But I have ideas for new stuff. Okay, so what have you seen indies do to raise money for their films? How do they do it other than taking some of their own money? I've seen a few different ideas. I want to hear what you have to say.
No, no, number one, what my partner and I did, we put it on a credit card. We went in debt, and it took us 5 years to pay off that credit card. We did a $50,000 film on between the two of us, 25 grand each on our credit cards, and it took us 5 years to pay them off. It's not the best way. It's hard. That's a real commitment. But we had day jobs at the time when we first started, and we, it took. That's probably why it took us a long time to pay it off. We just worked on our movies at night, and so when we first started the company, it took a while. A lot of people, a lot of our filmmakers do crowdfunding, um, like Indiegogo or GoFund. You know, yes,
Yeah,
Kickstarter,
GoFundMe.
or GoFundMe or Indiegogo. So that's another way, and then the other is to um, resource through friends and family. And that's hard.
Yeah, I've seen people do like little bits of the movie and they go out and put it out on a GoFundMe and they actually did get money that way because it was really good, but they never finished the film. And then
Oh,
I've seen people sell their entire comic book collection or something they have that they don't want anymore to raise money.
right.
Or another person I saw actually creates like items like shot glasses or notebooks or CDs of excuse me, DVDs of movies they've already done. This was a horror film indie, and they go out to craft shows or like Days of the Dead type shows, and they sell their product And
Mhm.
so that money they make, hopefully they make a profit from the stuff they're selling goes into the bucket for the next film.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, plus they have to come up with the money to buy all the merch,
Yeah,
merchandise, but
yeah.
they are doing it. So let me get into this chat because we do
Okay.
have some questions.
Sure.
And okay, the first one is, how did you go about developing relationships with these streaming platforms? And I'm going to say, do you have any relationship with like Netflix, Disney, or any of the big ones?
Okay. Well, Netflix and Hulu require exclusivity. So in other words, if your movie is with them, it's going nowhere else. And I don't believe, it's not our feeling, in our experience, that's not a good way for indies to go. We believe that you should be on as many platforms as possible. Because first of all, they won't give you enough money
Yeah.
to, make it worth your while. You're always going to be better off to put it on a whole bunch of different platforms. So, we get you out on multiple platforms. The other problem is they're looking for names, right? And they've gotten even stricter, about what they're taking right now. So there's films with big names in them that they're dumping. So it's some of the studios are really struggling right now. They lost billions of dollars, billions, all of them. There isn't a one that's not losing money on streaming, and so they're all cutting back, and they're all taking a lot. They're producing less, right? And they're spending less, and they're doing more deals that are revenue share. Like Tubi, for example, 98% of their acquisitions are what's called revenue share, as opposed to a flat fee license. Netflix only does a flat fee license. They don't do any revenue share. Same with Hulu. And now you've seen Netflix even has had to add, they were losing subscribers because it got so expensive. So they've added an AVOD tier now. It's, I think, $6.99 or something.
Yeah,
So
I
now,
saw something like that.
Yeah. So now you can get on Netflix cheap, but you're going to see ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
So,
next,
we built our relationships with companies because we got in early. Our timing was really good. When we started, it was before they even released their platforms to the public. So we beta tested. So I'd always been a real big, into the internet and gaming and, and so I used to pay attention to what was going on, that stuff. And so I would write to them and say, you're looking for people to test your products. I'm interested. I think you couldn't do that now.
no.
Now, to start a distribution company would be so difficult. You'd have to they want you to have at least 200 films before they'll even talk to you. Very, very difficult to get into the business now. And a lot of companies are going out, like Redbox, Crackle, Screen Media, Chicken Soup for the Soul. They're 1091. They're all going down. So
It seems like you would need a good legal team. And how did you build that? That's the next question.
we don't have a legal team. We had a friend who's a lawyer, wrote our contract, and everyone that is with us signs that contract, period. We don't make any. The terms have been the same since we started the company. Everybody signed the same contract. By doing that, it simplifies our business, right? So it makes everything simple. Everybody gets paid the same, right? Everybody has the same terms. And so it makes it very easy for us to pay us. Some of the other distributors, I mean, I don't know how they keep track of everything. They must have a crew of accountants and stuff, because they got and lawyers negotiating those contracts. So somebody's got 30%, somebody else got 35%. Somebody's got a $15,000 cap on their expenses. Somebody else has got $30,000 cap on their expenses. And I don't know how, when it comes time to do the reports and pay people, they can keep track of all that. It must be a nightmare. We just keep everything simple.
Yeah. And even
So
like,
we've never had, no one's ever sued us. We've never had any litigation in 23 years. No one ever sued us, and we have a great reputation. If you go in any of the film groups, people always just have good things to say about us, and that's very important to us, to maintain our reputation.
now you mentioned quite a few distributors that went bankrupt. What has made your company succeed while others failed?
We have no debt, and we have no investors. Okay, so we are never going to get in financial problems. So what happens with us, and we are actually a home-based business. Like our employees come here to work. We on the first floor, we have our employees. On the second floor is my office and Michael's office, which is an editing bay, and then we live above that. So we have like a big townhouse, and so we don't have a lot of overhead. We keep all of our expenses really, really simple. We never touch our filmmakers' money, right? When the money comes in from like Amazon and Tubi, it goes in a special bank account. We don't even have a checkbook for that bank account. And then once a month, 20% of that goes into a checking account, and we run the business out of that 20%. And then every quarter, we empty that trust account and pay all that money out to the filmmakers. And right now, we're paying out over $1 million a quarter to filmmakers. So it's you have to keep your company simple, and by keeping our contracts simple and how we run the business simple. We have very good internet skills here, and we do all the deliveries ourselves, so we don't have to interact with other companies like a lot of sales agents. And we didn't really talk about that, but there's distributors, there's sales agents, and there's producer reps, and there are three different things that really perform different services, right? We're a real distributor. We are direct, with the platforms. And so because of that, we don't have to outsource anything. But a lot of sales agents, they're just salesmen. They don't have any technology to their company. So when they acquire a film, so if you sign with them, then they got to take your film and they got to go to a post-production house that's going to then encode and deliver that film to the platforms, and they're going to pass that cost on to you plus some. So, but we don't have any of that going on. So we can keep all of our expenses really, really low. And so we don't ever have any financial problems. We never borrow money. If we can't afford to, do something, we don't do it. So it's very simple. So
Yeah,
that's
it makes
how we've
sense.
managed to stay in business. And we don't, I can't tell you how many times people want to invest in our company. Oh, we can help you grow bigger, and do this and do that. I mean, we could get a big bank loan and go for the fancy office. No thanks.
Yeah.
We don't eat. Why?
Then they want their cut.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course. And
then
then
they'll
they want
want
to tell
their
you how
cut
to run your, then they want to tell you how to run your business.
and tell you how to run it.
And that's
Yeah,
what happens to all of these companies. They've all got investors and venture capital and
yeah. And they mess up your formula.
yeah.
So we have another last question here. What resources or events do you recommend for brand new filmmakers?
Get involved with other filmmakers in your community. It's really, really a great idea. You should be in online filmmaking groups, right? There are many really good online filmmaking groups. And also in your own community. In Chicago, you got a ton of film festivals, right? A
Yeah.
ton. Volunteer. Get involved with a local, festival. And meet, attend, and support local festivals and meet resources. You might find someone who can be a line producer on your film, or you will meet talent and you can, find actors for your films, and you might find a good DP. So it's all about networking. You really need to network. Don't try and work in a vacuum. Films, it's a collaborative effort, you know? It's very, very collaborative. So you want and read, watch movies, watch good movies. It's really, really important to watch good, successful movies so that you learn, from the people that do it best. Like depending on the kind of movies you want to make. If you like docs, watch Michael Moore's movies. Like if you like horror, watch. If you like action crime films, watch some of Tarantino's movies. They're experts. So if you like beautiful dramas, you can watch Wes Anderson. But you have to. You're going to learn. You want to learn from people that know what they're doing. Learn about lighting. Learn about audio. So constantly be learning and perfecting your craft.
And I would also add in,
There's never and anything you want to do, you can learn. I mean, like editing. Learn to edit. Anybody can edit. Everybody should learn basic editing skills, right? There's free editing software out there. Everybody should learn how to edit so that you can make nice marketing stuff. You can make it with your phone, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to own an expensive camera. We're
Yeah.
getting movies made by phone now. So it's really incredible, the quality, so I mean you can make all your marketing stuff yourself. And so you want to learn basic editing so that you can make cool promotional pieces. And it's anything you want to learn on editing. Like I forgot how to put black bars on a movie, right? All I did was Google it. I just said, how do I use Adobe to put black bars on my movie? Boom. Threw me right into a YouTube video. Showed me how to do it just like that. I remembered right away how to do it. So there's a YouTube video for everything.
Yeah.
It really is. It's incredible.
And I don't know, is everybody from Chicago other than Linda? There's something called the Actor Studio in Chicago, and one of my actors for my film, one of my friends, he kind of runs events there, and it's usually free. It's usually a Friday night or something else. And they have all these actors that get together and practice. Or sometimes a seasoned actor comes in and works with them. It's just all about networking, like
Yep.
Linda said, and I don't care if you go on another meetup group, go to 2 or 3 of them because I know the people in that group. I'm in their group. So we are all, getting to know each other in Chicago and Chicago area. And that's how I'm going to find some of my actors or something else I need. And I don't mind, because some of the people I use for my film, somebody else asked and used them for their film because they knew somebody that knew me. But that's fine because that gets them work and practice.
Yeah.
So there is a network of us in Chicago and
Oh,
Chicagoland.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of filmmaking in Chicago.
Yeah.
A lot. And Atlanta too. I saw somebody there from Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of filmmaking in Atlanta.
Yeah. And we do have a lot of film festivals, even at the local colleges. I've seen them, not just in Chicago, like just Naperville or over in Grays Lake or different areas. And it's
Mhm.
just indie people like us putting it
Right.
together.
Well, a great way if you can is volunteer for one of the bigger ones. I mean,
Yeah.
Chicago's got some great festivals. If you volunteer, then you get to go and you get to see movies and you get to meet people. You don't have to pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes sense. Now I have a question. If I want to, I hope this recording comes out. It says it's still recording. If I want to put this together, is there something like I could put that just as, in Indie Rights interview or something? Should I just do something like that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can pick up our logo off of our website, and there's a picture of me, and my bio is, on our website. So, I mean, you can
I think you did I mean, it will help other people. I'll probably put this out on my a YouTube channel, and
That's fine.
I don't want to put everybody's face, I don't want everybody's face out on it. So I just am gonna keep the audio and put like just the thumbnail. But I mean, the questions that, we went through today are incredible and really good information, and it will also help drive people to your channel as well
Yeah.
to go start looking at some of this. So you never know how
Right.
that works. You put it
No.
out and it all hopefully comes back.
So all you got to remember is indierights.com. And, if you have a finished film, you can submit it there and you can read all about our company there and you can see the kinds of films that we do there. And you can even, there's a folder there that tells you all the deliverables that we need. And, so there's a lot you can learn just from our website. And there's lists of all the platforms that we work with, and there's testimonials from a lot of our filmmakers. So indierights.com is a really good resource.
Fabulous. I want to thank you. I think we're all done, right, everybody? We're all done.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you all, and I hope to see films from all of you.
Yeah, if I come up with another one, I'm definitely coming your way.
Right. All right. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you so much for taking the time
You're very,
tonight.
very welcome. Take care.
All right.
Stay warm.
Bye.
Bye.